Hey guys, this is Woodshop Junkies, and today I'm going to continue making the most of my small shop by getting my power tools stored and organized. As you guys can see, I rearranged my French Cleat wall to free up some space because today I'm going to make custom tool holders for all my handheld power tools. I probably should have done this a long time ago. Considering the amount of money people like myself spend on their machines, having them stored correctly is a must. Now, some of these machines were supplied with carry cases, but for my workshop environment it makes more sense to have them up against the wall and stored in a way that will allow for quick, easy and unrestricted access. I will be honest, I haven't done a crazy amount of planning for this video. Instead, a lot of it is going to be shooting from the hip. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to analyze each tool individually and consider the most effective way to store it or to create a tool holder for it up against the wall. The added advantage of these projects is the fact that it gives me something to do with some of my scrap wood. Okay guys, so the first tool I'm going to make a storage unit for is my electric hand plane, and it shouldn't be too difficult because the tool shape is not that awkward and I've got this nice flat surface to reference when I make my storage unit. Many of the tool holders that I'm going to be making in this video is going to rely on a type of hook or latch mechanism that uses the weight of the tool to keep it in place. Using such a mechanism means that the operator or user simply needs to overcome the weight of the tool to add or remove the tool from its holster. And under normal storage conditions, the tool should be secured. Things like bumping up against the holder or the tool should not dislodge it. In the case of the planer, that means that at the base of the storage unit I need to support the weight of the tool, but at the top I need to secure it in a way that will prevent it from dropping out. Besides the base and the top hook and bottom latch mechanism, I am also going to add sides which will prevent misalignment. The trick here is accommodating the areas or parts of the tool that's going to be protruding on the sides of the storage unit. Now for this first holder, I am showing all the little techniques I'm using to assemble or shape the wood. From the second holder, I'll start speeding up the process because I don't need to show the same thing again. Now, as I said, I didn't really do any design work or pre-planning for these holders. Instead, I am using random pieces of off-cut or scrap wood I find in my workshop and analyzing the need for each holder. This means that I'm not too focused on cosmetics, I'm worrying about functionality. Because of this, you will see me using different materials or different techniques to achieve similar goals with different holders. And the reason for this, as I said, is I'm using what's available to me. All of the holders I am making today are going to be suspended on my Cleat wall, but they can obviously be fixed straight to any wall and have the exact same amount of functionality. For the holders that require me to lift the tool to release it from its holder, I am securing the tool holder to the French Cleat wall, because obviously when I lift the tool I don't want the holder to pop out of place. Okay, so that's it for my hand plane, and next up I'm going to make a holder for my plunge router, or at least one of my plunge routers, and all I'm going to do is attach cradles to a backing so I can pop the handles into the cradles. Now guys, the reason I'm going for this gravity lock or latch mechanism is because the moment the operator has overcome the weight of the tool and the tool is dislodged from its cradle, the tool can be removed from its holder towards the operator or on the horizontal plane. This is good news in terms of space saving, because the tool holders can be clustered closer together because they don't require space around the holder to remove the tool, but rather just space in front. When doing through drills with a Forstner bit, I like to drill a pilot first, then drill halfway through the plank and flip the plank for drilling the other half. This way it creates a much cleaner cut on both sides. For some of these assemblies you'll see me using brad nails, for others you'll see me using screws. Once again, there isn't really much of a method to the madness, but I'm just using what I have available. If I'm attaching a plank on a smaller area onto a thicker base, I prefer to use screws. Right, next up is my cordless drills. I've got a few of them and it's high time I get them stored up against the wall and ready to be used. Now I'm going to stick with the conventional design of using PVC pipe to create holsters for the drills that will allow me to just slot them in place when I want to store them. For this one I start by assembling a holder or a housing for all the PVC pipes, which really only consists out of two side panels, a backing and a top. Into each one of the pipes I'm cutting a slot that will accommodate the handle of the drill when I slide the head of the drill into the pipe. Okay guys, so that's the third organizer and I'm finally starting to feel like I'm making a bit of headway. Now I still have a few tools to go, so next up is my jigsaw. I could have potentially stored this the same way as I did my planer because it's very similar in shape, but I don't want to have to remove the blade every time I store it, so I need to store it at a slight angle. To do this, I'm going to create a type of slide that I can holster the jigsaw at an angle like this and gravity will keep it in place. I'm using a offcut piece of MDF that is very similar to the thickness of the jigsaw base to space the two planks creating the slot. Okay, so next up is my corded trim router. Now I don't use this little guy as often as I used to since switching to cordless, but it is still one of my workshop tools and still needs to be stored. So to do this, I'm going to use a system very similar to the jigsaw. Once again, a slot, but this time it's going to be a horizontal, so I can simply slot it in place like that. Okay guys, so next up is my little palm sander, which is not a very heavy tool, so I'm going to go with a simple hook latch type of mechanism. Right, next up is my cordless belt sander, and for this one I'm going to take a horizontally mounted plank and cut a slot in it. Then I'll be able to store the belt sander by simply popping it in place like that. At this point you're probably noticing that this is how I like to make cutouts. I don't like to do a lot of curve cutting with the jigsaw. Instead I drill holes and do straight line cuts with the jigsaw. To make this unit more compact, I don't want to store the belt sander with the dust collection pouch attached. Therefore, I'm going to add a separate holder for the pouch. Okay, the next very simple holder I want to make is for my small grinder, and I'm thinking of making a type of hook or cradle that will allow me to hook the blade guard onto it like that. Okay, so next up is my cordless trim router. Now I know I've done a trim router storage unit already, but this one, though very similar, will be slightly different. This time I'm flipping the storage unit upside down because I don't have a cord to worry about, and it will allow me to remove this plate over here, meaning that I'll be able to store the unit from time to time with a bit in. It might not be the best practice, but considering I use this tool much more often, it is more likely to happen. And having the battery at the bottom means it is less likely to clash with some of my other storage units I have up against my wall. Right, so my final tool holder is going to be for my Orbital sander. Now this is a quarter tool, so I obviously need to take that into consideration. For this one, I'm once again going with a type of cradle or holder that would allow me to pop the tool in place and its weight will keep it there. Right guys, and with the 10th holder, I've got my handheld power tool stored, organized and up against my wall. And it is a huge improvement if you compare it to my older videos where these tools were laying all over my workshop. Now guys, I probably could have designed a much more elaborate or better looking holder system, but my focus point for this project was to keep it as cheap as possible by using scrap wood, as simple as possible to speed up assembly, and to use the weight of the tool to keep it in place. I also focused on designs or mechanisms that would utilize the space between the operator and the holder to add or remove the tool, instead of utilizing space around the holder. This way I could cluster them closer together and save on space. But I would love to hear what you guys have to say. Do you think these are useful additions to a workshop in terms of storage and organization, or do you think they need a bit of improving? I know the belt sander storage unit might need a bit of refinement, so if you have anything you would like to add, drop it in the comment section down below. Then before I sign off, if you guys aren't subscribed yet and you want to see more small shop woodworking or small shop organization related videos, you should do that now. Remember, you can help boost the video by interacting with it somehow. A like and a comment goes a long way. For now, however, thank you so much for watching. Till next time. Cheers.